Okay, good morning. How's everybody doing this morning? Surprised you got up and watched this thing at 5 a.m., but, you know, that's when we're recording these things is about that time in the morning, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Today we got a movie reviews going on with Ant-Man, The Hitman with Chuck Norris, and then we've got, what was the last one? Oh, You Can't Mess with the Zohan, which are pretty good movies in their own right, and I'm kind of spreading them out instead of doing series at one time. Now, let's take care of business. I want you to go ahead, subscribe, and like, and hit the bell button for me right here, right now. I'll wait. All right, hopefully everybody got that done. If not, you can do it while we're going down the road here. Okay, georgelawfree.com is still there. The blog has got the links to the affiliate marketing thing that I've been trying to do to make a little extra money to meet the goal by July 4th of the GoFundMe page. And it doesn't look like anybody's ever been to see the GoFundMe page. I haven't got any comments there or here saying anything about it. So I guess, my pleas, I'm just not pretty enough or something, huh? Anyway, so we got movie reviews coming here real quick. So the Ant-Man is a Disney DC Comics movie. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I still got a sore throat. I've been struggling with the cold or flu or hell, as far as I know, it could be COVID. I don't have any medical insurance to go find out for sure, but I've got this sore throat, I've got sore lungs, and I just don't feel like doing anything really. So this is based on the comic books that I grew up with and people my age grew up with of Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp. They just kind of remade him into a movie and modernized him just a little bit. Actually, quite a bit. So, in 1989, the old Ant-Man from S.H.I.E.L.D. is developing another attempt at replicating. Oh yeah, they're trying to replicate the shrinking technology because the original Ant-Man wouldn't let him have it. Which, if something that dangerous, I don't think that anybody should have that kind of thing because it's just crazy. I got to do filter on my mic. Does it seem to help? I don't know. I can't tell right now. So anyway, the new shrinking technology thing is called the Yellow Jacket, and our new Ant-Man has got to do it. So the guy that actually becomes the Ant-Man, he just got out of prison. They show him going to Baskin Robbins for a job. His friend picks him up out of prison in a van. I guess Dad, something wet. I guess his dad, the guy that's picking our new Ant-Man up at the prison is I guess his mom got put in jail and dad died or got deported, something. I don't remember, I just watched it earlier. I didn't get it. I don't remember it because I'm having trouble going through this cold, so I didn't put it in my notes because I thought I'd remember it. You know how it goes. Anyway, so he goes to Baskin Robbins, gets fired, and then his buddies go through a long, drawn-out story to convince him to do a robbery at this rich guy's place, and he finds a world-renowned, hard-to-break safe that was made from the Titanic. He actually breaks it using water and ice with a fire extinguisher. And the only thing in there is the red and black Ant-Man suit. At the time, he didn't know it, and his daughter's stepdad is a cop and trying to put him back in jail. I don't know why. It just seemed like he had something out for him. So anyway, while he was in jail, he gets broke out by ants, controlled by the old Ant-Man, and he puts on the suit, shrinks. They fly him out of the zone where they're searching for him, and then go to train him to be the Ant-Man. And then the facility where the S.H.I.E.L.D. facility where they're making the Ant-Man. They go and attack it later, and they use shrinking bombs on it, so they shrink the place into oblivion. It kind of just implodes on itself and kind of looks like nothing. Now, the daughter of the old Ant-Man, because he lost his wife to shrinking technology when they were doing it to Wasp, the original Wasp, she shrunk between the molecules and kept on going and couldn't come back up. So she turned into something smaller than the coronavirus. Let's put it that way. Back into subatomic and not just atomic. Anyway, so we they do. Am I through rattling yet? No. Anyway, so they got to the quantum realm with a nuclear Soviet nuclear weapon or missile. Yeah, they ended up causing that to blow, and her regulator malfunctioned, so she could get there, and she didn't actually come back off that trip. So Mama's been living with her dad or the old Ant-Man and his daughter has been living without Mama all these years because she disappeared. She disappeared into a quantum realm. So overall, I thought this was a pretty good movie. Let's see, what did it do at the box office? All right, the budget to make this thing was 130 to 169.3 million. At the box office, it made 519.3 million, so this thing was a huge success. The runtime is 117 minutes, and it was released in 2005. And it was produced by Walt Disney Studios and Productions. Now I like this one. It's got a lot of action. It's a good, fun movie for not only kids but adults. It's one of Disney's better movies before they went woke. At least that's what I'm hearing. They went woke. I don't know if they have completely or not. So they're calling this an action, adventure, science fiction comedy, which there are spots in this movie where it's a comedy. The Ant-Man, somewhere in the movie, he actually goes up against one of the Avengers, the guy with the wings, Hawk or something like that. He was up against him. That's actually a pretty fun part. And he actually gets to steal the piece of technology that he was after. So I think we're going to call this one the end. Now, just a reminder, all the links to buy these movies, DVDs, Blu-rays, all that, multi-packs, whatever you want, 4K videos are on my website in the blog. You got to go over there and click on the picture. It'll get you to the page where the movies are for sale for that particular movie, and they'll tell you which type you can get. Some of these movies are so old it's even hard to find links for them that I'm talking about, like this one, Chuck Norris, The Hitman. So Chuck Norris is a Seattle police officer called Cliff Griffin, And he goes around killing bad guys to show off and make part of the group. It's a high intensity, high action thriller. Um, so anyway, Chuck Norris asserts himself in as a hitman, and first order of business right off the bat when they actually show him, he's in the mob's headquarters or mob's front room, laying up against the door jamb in a corner, fairly visible to light because he's got um, he's just got a silhouette, and you know somebody there, but you don't know what's going on, which is kind of cool the way they did that. Anyway, so he ends up shooting one of the bad guys that didn't like the change that he was getting involved in. So, he put the 12 gauge to him. He goes flying across the room in slow motion, which is kind of cool. Then he goes and towards the thing. He goes up and riles the enemy up, so he'll go fight with the guy that he's working for as the hitman. And then somewhere along the way, early up in the movie, he catches the neighbor's kid sleeping at the door jamb, locked out of his house. So he leaves a note and brings him into the house, and then starts mentoring him on how to be, the only way I could say it, be a man, be an adult, be self-reliant, how to defend himself. Whatever way you want to say that, it was pretty good the way they did that. He started him on building a model plane. What do they call that, an F-4 Falcon or something? Anyway, it's a military jet. They built it as a model, non-functioning model, but a model. You get the little model kits and you put them together and paint them. And so the neighbor kid comes over for a while. Then after Chuck Norris starts some stuff with the mob between the both of them, first he gets a visit from the girlfriend, and they have an argument about her coming over, complaining about her dragging her. She's complaining about having to come over to his place clear across town because he's putting her life on the line because she's being an informant and a buddy for the bedroom, be the best way to say it. And so she comes over and visits in the movie a couple times, and then when it gets towards the ends where it really starts getting into the action because the girlfriend, she gets shot in traffic and left. Chuck Norris, or the hitman, Chuck Norris gets a visit from the mob guys when they actually find him. And they catch the kid that was visiting because he walks in on him. They tie him to a chair, and Chuck Norris has a conversation. They walk downstairs, and then the bad guy takes off. And as he's getting a little further away, about time Chuck Norris gets back to the doorway with the kid tied to the chair inside, his whole apartment blows up. Luckily, in this movie, the kid does survive with some burns and goes to the hospital. So, then mom and the kid start bonding again and getting back together. And then Chuck Norris tells his boss at the sheriff's department that he's going to go take his revenge on the bad guys. And then he tells him, if you get in my way, I'm going to treat you just like them. And he goes through in Chuck Norris fashion and starts killing everybody. Then they kill each other. And then at the end, the guy that blew up the kid gets hung from a windowsill in a chair, and he's told the same thing that he told the kid when he was sitting in the chair before he blew him up, to sit tight and squeeze his cheeks real tight if he's got to go to the bathroom, so he didn't go. And then he strapped a bomb to his gut, and he had a bomb strapped to his gut at the same time, and then he just pushes the guy out the window tied to the chair with the chair tied to a rope, and he lets him hang there. Then his boss gets up there about that time towards the end, and boom goes the bad guy, and the boss and Chuck Norris are halfway across the room because he walked away. Yeah, I mean, this is one of those movies that ends up with all the bad guys dying, um, and the gets kid and the mom gets a surprise. The airplane finished, sitting on a box of gift, and I'm gonna let you watch the movie to see what that box is. The gift. It's really good. What they should be doing, you know, with that type of thing, or at least what he should have been doing with that type of thing. So that movie, I liked it because it's an action adventure, and I kind of like these kind of action movies. Don't know why, but I kind of do. Trying to get in here to the bios for it on this page because I didn't write this one down. There we go. We're getting closer. There it is. It's right next to those two, which I gotta do. Okay, they're calling it an action comedy thriller. And well, there might be a little love interest in this thing too, but it turned out to be a pretty good movie for coming out in 1991, and all the money that it made in 1991. Well, Chuck Norris is and was a pretty good superstar in that era. And I think I'm having light issues, or it's just my glasses and I can't see anything, one of the two. Anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and record this the way it is, and I got to go to my next movie. So, hey, bear with me. We'll get the next movie on. Okay, so this is another comedy superhero film. It's called You Don't Mess with Zohan, and Adam Sandler is the Zohan. This one here is one of those movies that you've actually got to watch intently because you'll miss something, even though it's a comedy. Action thriller comedy, in my opinion, and we'll find out what it is later. But the Zohan is a southern Israeli soldier. And he fights against the other side. I can't remember who he is. What he was, but it's the Gaza Strip type of thing where Israelis are fighting against somebody else. Anyway, so he's fighting against him, and they're going to war. They start off with Adam Sandler in a briefing room, all dressed up as the Zohan, and flexible and fighting and all that. And they make a plan that doesn't use the Zohan, and then he takes over the plan and goes through and beats up all the bad guys, flying kicks that are impossible and back turn around. And then when he runs into the other guy, he's sitting on the roof upside down inside, waiting for the Zohan to come up so he can run away. Is what he did. He ran away. So anyway, the bad guy went and went and stole a jet ski, and then Adam Sandler, I don't know how they pulled it off, but he goes and catches his jet ski swimming like a dolphin. Well, at least that's what it looked like to me. In and out of the water, in and out of the water. So when he finally gets a hold of the jet ski, instead of just, climbing up there and turning the switch off, he hits the exhaust for the water pump, the jet, which kills the jet ski and the Phantom. That's his name. The Phantom was a bad guy. I forgot. I had to read my notes a little better. When you do it by hand, it's kind of hard to read your own chicken scratch. So, because I just did this by hand, I didn't type it out and print it or put it on a Word screen and put it up on the teleprompter today. Because this was kind of a last minute setup, and I'm losing light outside pretty quickly. Hopefully I got enough gain on my camera. This will work out pretty good for everybody. So anyway, he lets the Phantom believe he killed him out in the lake after they fought for a little while. Test of manhoods took because they were arguing about who was stronger, who didn't hurt, who was strong, who was better. You know, like kids do, boys. Then one of them the Phantom pulls out a piranha and sticks it to his neck. And they let that go there for a minute with the piranha wiggling and squeezing on the side guys of the Phantom's neck. Then the Zohan grabs the piranha and sticks it in his pants or swimsuit, whatever you want to call it. Down there where the manhood lives, the family jewels are at. Then the other one couldn't believe it, so the Phantom had to walk over and pull the shorts away and had to take a look. And then, Zohan picked on him about, you like what you see kind of thing. It's kind of a have to see kind of movie. So they fight right there in the lake, and they do table tennis with a grenade. And then towards the end, about the time the grenade's about ready to go off, the Zohan or Adam Sandler, whichever way you want to look at it, pops the grenade up in the air and lets it hit the water and explodes between them as they took cover in the water. Then he somehow, while it's exploding, he got his swim trunks off. Well, one set of swim trunks off, and he swims off out of the way, away, but close enough where he can see what's going on to make sure that the ruse took. And then once they figured out the ruse took, he swam off into the sunset, I guess you want to call it. Then the next scene shows him on a plane bound for U.S. in a dog carrier with 2 dogs. And then he, in the flight, he changes his appearance, shaved his beard. Instead of having a full face beard, he's got just a goatee with sidebars. I don't know what you want to call it completely, but he got one of those and changed his outfit, gave the dogs hair coloring, and he snuck out of the back of the crate using his tongue to unscrew the screws and at the airport. And then he ends up getting over into the Paul Mitchell hair salon where he wanted to work as a stylist. So he went in there to see if he can see Paul Mitchell and get a job. And apparently his style book was out of date, so they didn't want him. The girls in there made fun of him, so he went to a kid's barbershop, and that didn't work out because he was a little bit more rough than they wanted. Then he went to his relative to go see if he can sell electronics, TVs, VCRs, they're going out of business. Then he ends up getting a job across the street at the Phantom Sisters shop. At the time, he didn't know, the story goes at the time he didn't know that was the Phantom Sisters shop. It just knows that he needed a job, and he was there sweeping up hair until one of the stylists didn't show up, or ladies, and then he styled and cut and banged the customers for a long time until he fell in love with the proprietor, or the lady that he got hired with, and then he couldn't perform. Then the rich guy wanted to tear down the neighborhood to put up a big shopping mall with rides on the roof, so they fought that. They were fighting that, making more money to pay the rent than they thought they could, so they kept raising the rent to get them out. And then the next thing you know, then the rich guy sends a bunch of thugs down there to burn the buildings down so that he can get them condemned and send all the people there to a different section of town so he can build his mall on that block. So after the Zohan decided, before all that happened, the Zohan decided to go to a hacky sack tournament to try to fight the Phantom in the dressing room of Mariah Carey, which sung the national anthem. I thought that was kind of an interesting twist in the middle of that. So anyway, he got a call from the neighborhood, from one of the friends that he made, telling him what was going on. So he had bigger fish to swim, that's what he said. So he goes back to the neighborhood, and then the brother follows, or the Phantom follows, and they fight a little bit. They get together. One of them the Phantom goes in and tries to put the fire out with his fist. The Zohan goes and gets the masa pot and hooks a hose to it and puts another hose to it, pressure, water, squirts all that into the store that's on fire, and then they end up having a brawl in the city and beating up all the thugs that were sent in there to get the city taken care of, or the block destroyed. They end up winning, and towards the end, they did the call or the noise that both the Phantom and the Zohan can only make together. So they cooperated at the end and became fast friends. Everybody was happy at the end, and the Zohan got the girl. So, this had a budget of $90 million in 2008, mind you. And that's a lot of money for then, for making a movie. It did $204.3 million at the box office. And that's probably not including all the DVD sales and, for all the collectors like me that bought copies of it in DVD, Blu-ray, or whatever. I'm pretty sure they're still selling copies of this movie. It's a real good movie, and I highly recommend you watch it. Highly recommend you watch it. It's also a stupid movie, but everything Adam Sandler did was a stupid movie. You kind of have to expect that from him. Now, just to update you with this cold, I don't know what kind of cold it is. All I really know is it kept me in bed and out of work all week, and I'm still having problems with the chest being in pain and sore throat, as you can tell. My voice is not completely crystal clear because I've got the crackles from the sore throat. Then the GoFundMe page itself isn't really doing anything for me. I've got the links in just about every video, and I drop the videos for just about every video that I talk about that in the GoFundMe page. So there shouldn't be any reason why everybody that's been to my channel can't go over there and drop $20 or $10 or $3 or something to help me solve that little problem that I'm having. Well, that computer's hot on the lap, and I don't want it on my lap no more. And this is going to be a longer video than last time, it looks like, because I just felt chatty, I guess. So anyway, the GoFundMe page is basically so that I can get a bigger house and, get rid of the problem child that's causing me headaches and making me miserable at the house here, Mom's house in town. Either way, if the GoFundMe page don't work by, let's say the date was July 4th next year, or 2022, I was just going to go ahead and move anyway, and, with whatever I can get. Because I can't buy a house by myself here in Nevada, because the $300,000 houses are selling for investors, and corporations are buying them so they can rent them out. The HOA houses are, $500,000 and up to about $700,000, and then the non-HOA houses that you can actually buy without being outbid are the big expensive ones. Because they don't want those, because most people won't rent those, because the corporations are trying to make money with the houses. Now, I'm hoping with what's coming out, all the craziness coming out of Washington, that the bubble breaks here in housing, but then I'll be able to go pay cash for a house that, I can actually afford to pay for 100% and is big enough to do the studio. But, I prefer it that, I get a little help from the audience or people here on YouTube or people visiting my website or whatever else, wherever else this video pops up, because that would mean that I'm actually producing the right kind of content and people starting to like what I'm doing. I get, once in a while I get comments, but I don't very rarely get comments, and very rarely am I getting return visitors to see what I'm talking about. And I do get it. Since I changed the plan and went back to what I was doing with hopefully better sound and better video, I've made an actual difference on how the quality of this channel is going, and I'm going to strive to improve the quality of the channel every time I can. So, I want you all to stay safe, take care. And if you can avoid it at all, stay away from COVID. Don't catch it because it's miserable. I've been through it 3 times, and I don't know if I'm going through it now or not. And I probably won't know. But I've been through it 3 times. I know of. And it's miserable. I hope nobody gets it. But if you do, Godspeed to you. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and call this the end of the video, and we're going to put the end right here someplace. Bye now.